Hi, I am Matthew.
The night my parents disowned me, my father did not raise his voice. He did something far colder. He pointed at the door, not dramatically, not angrily, just a small, precise gesture, as if he were directing a staff member to clear a mistake from the room. If you walk a note with that ring on your finger, he said, you walk out of everything. My mother did not interrupt him. She stood beside the dining table, one hand resting lightly on the back of a chair, wearing the same expression she used at charity galas, polished, composed, untouchable. You are not just making a personal decision, she added. You are damaging the family. Not hurting, not betraying, damaging, like I was a faulty asset. I stood there, still wearing the coat I had not taken off, my engagement ring catching the light in a way that suddenly felt inappropriate in that room. My entire life had been built inside their world. Private schools, carefully selected internships, introductions disguised as friendships. Every step approved, refined, positioned. And now I had stepped outside the script. I am getting married, I said. My voice did not shake, which surprised me. That is not damage. That is a life. My father's jaw tightened. To him? He asked. To a man with no verifiable standing, no institutional backing, no measurable future? His words were not emotional. They were analytical. That was worse. My mother leaned slightly forward, her voice softening in a way that was far more dangerous than anger. You are choosing a liability over a legacy. Then she slid a document across the table. A formal waiver. If I left, I forfeited everything. Trust access. Equity pathways. Future inheritance. They had prepared it in advance. That was the moment. Something inside me went quiet, not broken.
Clear?
You planned this, I said. We prepared for every outcome, my father replied. I looked at the paper, then at them, then at the door. For 28 years, that door had never meant freedom. It had meant return, control, continuation. Tonight, it meant exile, or truth. I picked up a pen, signed my name. My mother's lips pressed together, almost imperceptibly. My father said nothing. When I turned to leave, he spoke one last time. Do not expect us to fix this when it collapses. I paused at the threshold. Then I said the only honest thing I had left. I am not asking you to. And I walked out. Ryan was waiting for me in the car. He did not ask what happened. He looked at my face, then at my hands, then at the house behind me. It is done, I said. He nodded once.
No pity.
No panic, just presence. As we drove away, I felt something I had never felt before. Not fear, absence. The absence of being managed. At the wedding 2 weeks later, there were empty seats where my family should have been. I told myself I would not look. I looked anyway, again and again, as if love at the last second might override pride. They did not come. My brother stood at the back, arms crossed, expression tight, like he was attending a negotiation he had already decided to reject. When I reached the altar, Ryan leaned slightly closer. We are not losing anything, he whispered. His voice was calm.
Certain.
We are removing noise. I did not fully understand what he meant, but I held on to it because in that moment it was all I had. And when I said, I do, I realized something I had never been allowed to feel before. I was no longer owned. Would you walk away if love cost you everything? Reality did not collapse all at once. It eroded, quietly, precisely. Our apartment had one bedroom, it had uneven floors, and a kitchen so small you had to choose between opening the fridge or standing comfortably. The furniture did not match. The plates were chipped. The couch had a history we did not ask about. My mother would have called it embarrassing. My father would have called it proof. To me, it felt
Honest.
at first. We made grocery lists, counted expenses, learned the difference between comfort and necessity. Ryan never acted like anything was wrong. He moved through the space like it was temporary by design, not failure by consequence. I tried to match his energy. Then the job rejections started. At first, they were polite. Then they became strange. A promising interview would suddenly cool. A recruiter would stop responding after asking for my last name again. One company sent an offer draft, then withdrew it within 24 hours without explanation. Finally, one recruiter I trusted told me the truth. There are concerns, she said carefully. What kind of concerns? I asked. She hesitated. Stability, judgment, reputation risk. I almost laughed. They think I am unstable because I got married? They think you made a decision that suggests unpredictability, she corrected. Who thinks that? She did not answer. She did not need to. The rumors spread faster than I expected. I was reckless, emotional, detached from reality.
Married down?
The phrase appeared more than once. Friends stopped inviting me out. Messages slowed. Conversation shortened. People who used to orbit my last name suddenly found better things to do. I became inconvenient. One afternoon, after another rejection, I called my brother. I do not know why. Maybe I wanted proof that someone still saw me as human. He answered on the third ring. You picked a strange time to reconnect, he said. I just need to understand what is happening, I told him. You made a decision, he replied. Now you are experiencing it. That is not an answer. It is the only one that matters. His tone sharpened. You are not independent, Emma. You are unsupported. The words landed harder than I expected. So you want me to fail? I asked. There was a pause. Yes, he said. Not cruel. Honest. Because if you do not, he continued, then everything I stayed for becomes questionable. That was the moment I understood him. This was not about me. It was about the cost of his obedience. I hung up. That night, I broke. I came home soaked from the rain, dropped my bag, and slid down the wall before I even reached the living room. I sat on the floor, shoes still on, water pooling beneath me, and cried in a way I had never allowed myself to cry before. Not controlled, not quiet. Raw. Ryan found me there. He did not rush. He did not panic. He knelt in front of me and waited until I could breathe again. What if they were right? I said finally. What if I made the biggest mistake of my life? He took my face in his hands, steadying me. Hard does not mean wrong, he said, and struggling does not mean small. I closed my eyes. I do not think I can do this forever. He nodded. You are not supposed to, he said. I opened my eyes. Well, what does that mean? It means this is the hardest part, he replied. Not the ending. Something in his voice was different, not comforting, certain. And for the first time, I wondered if he was not just enduring this with me. If he was waiting. The first shift came from a place I did not expect. A lawyer, my grandmother's lawyer. She called 2 days later and asked to meet. When I walked into her office, everything about her was precise, controlled, intentional, much like my family. But when she spoke, there was something else beneath it. Respect. Your grandmother anticipated this outcome, she said. I blinked. I am sorry. She created a private trust, the lawyer continued. Separate from your parents' structures. My heart slowed. Why? The lawyer slid a document toward me. Because she believed your parents valued control over care. I stared at the page. The language was exact. The trust would activate only if I demonstrated financial independence from my family. Not compliance. Not reconciliation. Independence. My grandmother had seen everything years before I had. The money would change everything. But there was a catch. Accessing it would trigger notifications. My parents would know. They called within 48 hours. My mother's voice was smooth, controlled, concerned. You are making decisions very quickly, she said. I am making them independently, I replied. You are not ready to manage something like this alone. There it was. Not fear for me. Fear of losing leverage. I think I am exactly ready, I said. Her tone cooled. You are being emotional. No, I answered. I am being clear. Silence stretched between us. Then she said something that confirmed everything. We need to think about how this looks, not how I felt. Not what I needed, how it looked. I ended the call, and something in me closed permanently. That was when Ryan changed the conversation. If I told you there was a way to build something real, he said one night, without touching their money, would you do it? Yes, I said immediately. He nodded. Good, he said, because I have been working on something. That was the beginning. We built at night, at the kitchen table, on the couch, on the floor. Ryan explained systems I did not fully understand at first. Infrastructure, security gaps, enterprise blind spots. The cost of arrogance in fast-scaling companies. But the more he spoke, the clearer it became. This was not theory. This was precision. I helped shape the narrative, the positioning, the language. For the first time in months, I felt useful. Not as a daughter, not as a symbol, as a partner. Then I started noticing things. The calls he took in private, the way he spoke about investors, like peers. The calm. Always the calm. Finally, I asked, "Who are you, really?" He did not hesitate. "My father built a cybersecurity firm," he said. "I inherited part of it." I stared at him. "You are not broke." "No." "Why did you not tell me?" "Because I needed you to choose me without it," he said. I sat back. Anger flickered, then faded. Because I understood, and because deep down I knew I would have chosen him anyway. The investor meeting was the turning point. Glass walls, quiet power, controlled conversations. Ryan walked in like he belonged. Because he did. People greeted him by name. Not curiosity. Respect. I felt the shift before he even spoke. When the question came about his background, he answered simply, "No performance." No hesitation. The room recalibrated instantly. Not shock. Recognition. And in that moment, I understood something devastating. My parents had not just underestimated him. They had exposed themselves. My brother was there. He had forced his way into the meeting. When the room shifted, I watched his face. Confusion. Then realization. Then something worse. Fear. No one acknowledged him. He had never been so invisible. After the meeting, my phone buzzed. My mother. "We need to talk." Not a command. A request. That was new. They changed quickly. Too quickly. Concern replaced judgment. Strategy replaced rejection. My father called Ryan the next morning. "We should meet," he said. "There are overlapping interests." Ryan did not soften. "You mean you want to control the damage?" Silence. Then, "We want to avoid unnecessary conflict." Translation, we are exposed. We met them 2 days later. The same house, the same rooms, but the power had shifted. They tried to start formally. It did not work. "You disowned me," I said. "Let us not pretend this is professional." My mother smiled tightly. "We were concerned." "No," I said. "You were afraid." My father's voice sharpened. "You are being emotional." "I am being accurate," I replied. Then Ryan spoke. Calm. Precise. I did not hide who I was, he said. Silence filled the room. "You just decided I was small." That was the moment everything broke. Not loudly. Irreversibly. They wanted alignment. Partnership. Access. I looked at them. Really looked. And realized something simple. I did not need them anymore. "You can fix your company," I said. "But you cannot rewrite who you were when it mattered." We left. In the weeks that followed, their company did not collapse. It weakened. Questions emerged. Deals slowed. Confidence cracked, not because we attacked them, because reality caught up. As for us, we built, raised capital, expanded, and for the first time in my life, everything I had was something I had chosen. The best part was not that they needed him. The best part was that I no longer needed them.